starting key. Hey, welcome back everyone. Today we're going to try and get this 4BT running. If you haven't checked out the previous episode, it details where we found this brand new engine that's been sitting for 20 years, manufactured in 2001. We dragged it out of where it was sitting, and we're in the process here seeing if we can try and get it started. So if you haven't, you should go check that out. Let's get to it. So we're going to see if the thing's going to run. So first things first, need to get some power hooked up to it. So got some 0 gauge or 50mm battery cable, and we'll hook it up to the starter and up to the ground. This is 24 volts, so we need 2 batteries, and then we'll jump the solenoid over onto it with a wee wire, and that'll act as our key start. I think what we'll do, rather than wiring this up, we'll pull the stop solenoid back with a cable tie. That'll do that. Then we need diesel fitting. For here, for suction, we'll have to get some sort of can set there. These will return back out of the pump. It'll have to go back into the can. What I plan on doing is pressurizing the oil system before we even start it. And obviously you need to put oil in it. So we'll get started on that. Let's get going. So, not the prettiest thing in the world, but it's what I had, and I wasn't going to start and cut up good cables and shorten them just for this. So, yeah, that's 24 volts hooked up to the starter. And over here, I have cobbled together basically a feed line to the pump and a return line from the other side of the injection pump back into a little jar. Put a bit of diesel in that, and put some oil in the engine here. So there's it on the bottom of the dipstick now. It's not going to put any more in it. So plan is pressure feed the engine and prime the oil filter as well by making up some fittings and basically pumping the oil in there under a bit of pressure. So we'll get on with that now and see if we can register some oil pressure. So I've been chatting to a few people about starting this thing, and as I've said, they recommend priming the oil system. So they were chatting about a grease gun or something, but we've got this. My dad made this for actually filling up gearboxes with oil. You can put oil in the top. It's just a lorry air tank with a pressure regulator on it. And yeah, it does a good job of pumping oil out. So rather than messing with a grease gun, what I'm going to do is take this pipe, put it in there. It's a bit loose fitting, but if you don't have the right fitting, I'm going to make a wee bit of a sleeve out of a silicone adapter, and we'll get a good tight fit in there, enough anyway to put, I don't know, 10, 15 psi, and we'll take this cover off and we'll wait until we see some oil coming up out of the tappets, and that way we know that we've got oil hopefully around the crank and the main bearings, hopefully down to the oil pump, and seal it up. And then we'll fill this thing up with diesel and start and get it primed, get it going. So next bit you'll see is just me getting this all set up, and then yeah, hopefully we're going to start this thing, see what happens. Right, so got some 1540 in the tank, and I'm going to try and do this one-handed, so see what happens here. There we go, we're out of oil in the tank anyway. But you can see it definitely worked anyway. So you can see here there's oil working out of both rockers. So I think I'm happy with that. We're pretty much ready to fire this thing up. So diesel's the next job. We'll get the diesel sorted here now. Right, so primed it. So I've got diesel up the injector now. Got my normal stop, and I've got my emergency stop if required. Hopefully we don't need that. And yeah, it's time to fire this thing up, see what happens. Starting key. And it's all lined up for a minute. I just crank at her here and check that she actually makes some oil pressure, hopefully. Oh yeah, we've got oil coming up, we've got oil pressure, so let's put the stopper on. That's the first time that's run since it was made in 2001. Purring like a kitten. Happy with that. Class. Not a damn thing wrong with that. Don't want to run it too long. I only put a bit of water up into the oil pump just to lube the seal, but class. Look at that there. Plenty of oil pressure. Some job. Right, so that's going to be a wrap for the 4BT. It's away out of the workshop. So if you want to join me for the next adventure, it's going to be this 404 Honda that has been left in by a good friend of mine. It has been through several different restoration shops / mechanics, whatever, and they've all taken it apart and, you know, left things off, butchered the wiring. So this will be a bit of an adventure, but hopefully we'll knock this one out pretty quick and then back on to trying to make 600 or 700 horsepower in that thing. So stick with us. Cheers. Thanks.